Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today, entitled Mom Buys a Christmas Present That Won't Fit Me on Purpose, just so she can give it to her spoiled daughter instead. After that, entitled Aunt lets entitled kid take my Christmas presents and makes me clean up their mess. After that, entitled grandmother makes everything worse again and again. And after that, entitled lady wants me to fix gas pump. Now Karen told me if we can get 1,000 likes on this video, she won't try taking any of your Christmas presents, so please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. And by the way, join as an official channel member today and I'll give you a shout out in an upcoming video. Entitled Mom Buys a Christmas Present That Won't Fit Me on Purpose, just so she can give it to her spoiled daughter instead. Hey darlings, so something I saw on a subreddit recently sparked a memory, and I decided to share the story here. Last year, my entire family and some friends decided to do one big Christmas party at one of my uncle's houses. It was about 30 to 40 people, I'd say. So we decided to do Secret Santa between all the family members and friends, and we were all pretty excited. Just in case any of you don't know the concept of Secret Santa, you draw someone's name randomly and buy them a present, but they don't know it was you who bought it for them until the exchange day comes. I didn't know at the time, but my aunt had picked me when we were drawing the names, and that's how the crap show began, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying that my aunt has an extremely spoiled daughter. She's the type of girl who has had so much handed to her, she thinks she's entitled to anything and everything. Oh yeah, folks, she's the type of girl to say, "I'm gonna tell my dad to sue you," if you cause any minor inconvenience to her. My aunt has completely turned her into a rotten person, and she's by far the least liked between all the cousins. Here's the cast. We've got entitled aunt. We've got entitled cousin. We've got Aunt Millie, cause she's too good for abbreviations. Splendid, let's get into it. All of you keep in mind here, by the way, entitled cousin is about a size 2, very small build, and I'm about a size 8. Entitled aunt comes over to my house very often, so she knows quite well that I am absolutely not the same size as her daughter. So the party was going amazing throughout the night. However, entitled aunt didn't miss a single opportunity to display all the crap she was giving entitled cousin that year for Christmas. Like honestly, she brought all of entitled cousin's gifts to the party, like 9 gifts, and just kept popping into the room throughout the night like, "Oh, here honey, have another gift." I mean, it kind of got tiring by the 5th gift, you know what I mean? Anyway, the icing on the cake came about an hour later when entitled aunt called all 40 people in the party to come outside in the super freezing weather. Welcome to Canada. This includes all of the older folks and everything. She literally did not shut up until everyone hauled their butts outside. So we go out there, right? Lo and behold, a car. Entitled cousin was 15 at the time, by the way, so it's not like she could drive the dang thing. Like for real, it would be at least another year. Oh, and what kind of car, you ask? A G-Wagon. Anyway, so finally it came time for Secret Santa. Me and the other cousins were so pumped because we just watched some other girl get presents all night and it was finally our turn. So we went around in a circle, everyone revealing who they got and giving that person the gift, yada yada. It was finally my turn, and entitled aunt sprung up from her seat. I was just thinking like, oh crap, just my luck. Entitled aunt. "Okay everyone, so I got OP in the Secret Santa draw, and I think she's gonna love the gift, because it cost me quite a pretty penny." I kind of felt awkward when she said that, cause that's a weird thing to say, but I brushed it off and opened the gift. It was this gorgeous shimmery dress, and it was just so breathtaking. For a brief second, I was like, damn, entitled aunt popped off this year, A. That quickly changed when I glanced at the dress tag and saw that it was in fact, guess what? A size 2. Size 2. As soon as entitled aunt saw that I noticed the size, she sprung back up from her seat, snatched the dress out of my hand, and with a very fake tone said, "Oh no, shoot, I had no clue. Well, we shouldn't let it go to waste." She handed the dress to her daughter and suggested she keep it since it just so happened to be her size. Entitled cousin gave me a nasty smirk, which I wanted so badly to just whack her face off. But alas, this was a civil family affair. After this, we very awkwardly continued on with Secret Santa until everyone had exchanged their gifts. So the night came to a close, and overall, Entitled cousin got a G-Wagon and my dress and a bunch of other cool stuff, while I, out of 40 guests, was the only one who left that night without a Christmas present. Yay. I know that you guys who've read my other posts on this subreddit about Aunt Millie want more crazy stories with her, but sadly, her role in this story was really short, but still super meaningful to me. Aunt Millie wasn't at the party because she was spending Christmas in the Bahamas with her boyfriend. When she got back, I told her the story, and she was just so upset at Entitled Aunt. She called her up and gave her an earful, including how it's sad that so much money is being spent on such a little jerk like Entitled cousin. So Aunt Millie is pretty loaded, not gonna lie. She took me out after this and said she hadn't bought me a Christmas gift, so she wanted to get me one now. I said I was fine with whatever she wanted to get me. I'm definitely not the type to pick expensive things when someone else is paying. She told me that she'd pick the gift then and told me to wait at a bench in the mall and she'd be back with my gift in a sec. She came back a while later and put it into my hands. I get excited when I remember it. A Rolex. Girl, I lost my crap for a minute and was just so thankful. In summary, Entitled Aunt sucks, Entitled cousin is a little jerk, and Aunt Millie is my everything. And oh, you best believe I rub my Rolex in Entitled cousin's face whenever I get the chance. Looks like poor little old me got the one thing Entitled cousin didn't for Christmas that year. Next we've got Entitled Aunt lets Entitled kid take my Christmas presents and makes me clean up their mess. So Christmas is coming up, and I thought I would share a story that happened last Christmas. Also, my English isn't perfect. I'm from Sweden. Cast. We've got Entitled cousin. She's 11, by the way. We've got Nice cousin. We've got Nice cousin too. We've got Entitled Aunt. We've got Mom, Entitled Uncle, Nice Aunt, and me. Here's a little backstory. Entitled Aunt had Nice cousin with another guy before she met Entitled Uncle. Entitled Uncle and Entitled Aunt had Entitled cousin together, but eventually they broke up. So having Entitled Uncle at Christmas was kind of awkward. He usually comes to see Entitled Kid at Christmas. And Nice Aunt is Nice cousin 2's mom, just getting that out of the way. Okay, on to the story. It's Christmas morning, and Entitled Aunt invites me and my mom over for Christmas. It's a tradition. Entitled Grandma is cooking food, but my mom and Nice Aunt have to leave to go get some groceries for the Christmas meal. Entitled cousin sees the presents and immediately runs over to open them. Nice cousin too. Entitled cousin, we should wait for everyone else to arrive before we open the presents. Me. Yeah, we need to wait for the rest of the family. Entitled cousin's eyes started watering and she started pouting. But I don't want to wait. It's not my fault everyone is late. Me. Entitled cousin, just go do something else, like play on your tablet. Entitled uncle. Let her open one, then she'll stop fussing. Entitled cousin smiles deviously and grabs the first present she sees. Nice cousin too. Don't open it yet. We have to see who it's for. Of course, it had to be mine. Nice cousin too. Oh no, Entitled cousin, that's for Hope. But I want it. Me. Sorry, Entitled cousin, but that's for me. Nice cousin walks in. Nice cousin. Entitled cousin, stop being a brat. Just wait for everyone. Entitled uncle. I said she could open a present. Nice cousin looks at the tree and picks one up that has Entitled cousin's name on it. Nice cousin. Here, Entitled cousin, this one is for you. I want that present. Entitled Aunt walks in. Entitled Aunt. What's going on? Nice cousin too. Entitled cousin wants to open a present early. So, let her. Me. But she keeps choosing presents that aren't hers. I already choose the one I want. You just won't let me have it. By the way, the present was from Nice cousin and Nice cousin too. We were basically BFFs with each other. Nice cousin too. But Entitled cousin, that's for Hope. I don't care. Entitled Aunt. Give her the present. Nice cousins. No! Me and Nice cousin too spent a lot of money on that, and it's for Hope. Entitled uncle. Just give her the dang present. You should spend money on your sister rather than friends. Nice cousin looks around the tree for a big present that has entitled cousin's name on it. Open this one. Whatever, you jerk. Entitled cousin opens the present and shuts up. But then, entitled aunt grabs my arm and pulls me into the kitchen. Hope you have no right to be selfish like that. I invited you here, so learn some respect. Me. Entitled aunt, the present was for me. If I don't want to give it away, entitled kid should accept that. Entitled kid is my daughter. If something is bothering her, I have to play mama bear. I don't want my daughter upset. Me. I'm going back to the parlor. Remember what I told you. It's now 10 p.m. and we're about to open presents. There are like 30 people there now. We all gathered around the Christmas tree. My mom was inside chatting to other people who didn't want to freeze as we were outside. Of course, entitled cousin got a ton of gifts because she was youngest, which meant a bunch of wrapping paper. Entitled aunt. And this is for Hope. It was the present entitled cousin wanted from before, so she glared at me while I was opening it. It was a gaming laptop, a new one. I was so happy. I hugged my nice cousins and thanked them a million times. I got some other stuff as well. I got a crochet kit, I got a box of jewelry, and 2 plushies of Mang and Kooky. I got some other things, but I don't really remember. These are the ones that matter. Entitled cousin. I'll put everyone's presents in the house. Entitled aunt. That's so sweet of you, entitled cousin. Me and nice cousins were talking, but then entitled aunt walks towards us mad. You all should help clean up instead of making your poor cousin do it. Nice cousin. But mom, she just volunteered to do it. Son, you will help clean up the mess out there. Entitled aunt. You girls will help too. Me and nice cousin too. Fine, we'll pick up wrapping paper. After we were done, we went inside and chatted a little before entitled cousin made a mess. Hope, can you come here please? I walk over to entitled aunt, who's next to entitled cousin's room. Entitled cousin needs your help cleaning up a mess she made. Why do I have to help her? Because it's your jewelry box she made a mess with. What? I look in to see my jewelry all over her floor. I got madder when I saw some of it was broken. Me. Entitled cousin, what the heck? You stole and broke my jewelry? Entitled cousin starts to cry because I yelled at her. Then I noticed my computer was open on her floor with a drink dangerously close to it. Entitled cousin, how much of my stuff did you take, you little jerk? Entitled cousin started to cry this time. It was kind of my fault. Entitled aunt. Hope, how dare you say that to entitled cousin? At this point, I bursted into tears and started screaming. Everyone heard and came to see what was wrong. Mom. Hope, honey, are you okay? What's wrong? I told her everything that happened and how entitled cousin stole my new jewelry and broke it. Nice aunt overheard. She bought me the jewelry. Nice aunt. What happened? Entitled aunt, discipline your dang kid. I see how she's been acting tonight. Why should I? Maybe Hope should have put it where entitled cousin couldn't get it. Nice aunt. Entitled cousin said she wanted to put the gifts inside, and you let her, so that technically makes it your fault. It's just a bunch of dumb jewelry. Clean it up and move on. Me. It wasn't dumb to me. Mom. Entitled aunt, you owe my daughter some money. Hope, grab your stuff. I'm ready to leave. Entitled aunt called and apologized the next day, but entitled uncle called and yelled at me. But I am happy to say, me and entitled aunt are on good terms, and she isn't that entitled anymore. Next we've got, entitled grandmother makes everything worse, again and again. So a little backstory. I have dealt with entitled people my entire life. My grandmother on my father's side is the entitled grandmother in this story. I have so many stories about her. If you enjoy this story, I might post more. Cast. We've got me. I'm a 29-year-old woman. We've got entitled grandmother, 77-year-old woman. We've got nice dad, he's 56, my dad, an entitled grandmother's son, and my nephew, who is 7. Okay, on to the story. Yesterday, my nephew and my entitled grandmother came over to hang out with my dad and I. My nephew had some homework that he needed to get done, so we went to my room where it was a bit more quiet. Well, being 7 and hyped up from seeing his auntie, my nephew had trouble concentrating. When I finally did manage to get him to concentrate on his math, either entitled grandmother or nice dad would come in to check up on him and break his concentration. So I had to go through that about a half dozen times, but that's not what this story is about. My nephew is rarely allowed in my room. He was very interested in everything I had lying around. He thought my sonic screwdrivers were lightsabers. It hurt my soul. So he's not concentrating on homework. He's looking around, poking and examining things here and there. He eventually finds a random wiffle ball. You know those plastic baseballs with the holes in them? Nephew: Auntie, look what I found. Let's play catch. Me: I'll play with you some more as soon as we finish your homework, I promise. But right now, I need you to look at number 2 and tell me what 52 minus 14 is. Nephew walks over to where I am, wiffle ball still in hand, when he suddenly stops and looks at me with an uh-oh expression. Me: Nephew? Nephew holds up his hand and the wiffle ball is perched securely in his pointer finger. Me: I laugh a little. Oh, what did you do? Nephew: I put my finger in this and it got stuck. Me, still chuckling. Okay, let's see what we can do. I should explain here that my nephew can be very sensitive. I mean, if you use the wrong tone of voice or look at him like you're mad, he'll break down and start crying. It gets much worse if he's scared or in any pain. At first, I try just pulling the wiffle ball off of his finger. Nope. Next, I take him into my bathroom and slather hand soap all over the stuck finger and around the ball and try to slip it off. Nope. Nephew starts to get scared. He's crying loudly and having a panic attack. Now I'm gonna have to live with this ball on my hand. I lean down, taking him by the shoulders, and say his name repeatedly until he focuses on me. Nephew, look at me. I would never let that happen, buddy. Okay? Let's rinse off this soap, and we'll go ask Grandma and Grandpa if they have a better idea. Okay? He sniffles and nods. We go outside to where Nice Dad and Entitled Grandmother are talking over Nice Dad's train set. Entitled Grandmother hears nephew crying and rushes over. Entitled Grandmother: What is it? What happened to him? Nephew holds up his hand and wails. I'm stuck. Entitled Grandmother sighs, like this is a major inconvenience. She calls Nice Dad's name, and we all go to him so he can see. Nephew is still scared and crying, so Entitled Grandmother decides it's the best time to say, Don't worry, nephew. We can get it off. We just have to cut off your finger. Nephew wails, and his cries start all over again. I give Entitled Grandmother the look she deserves. Nice Dad kneels down to nephew's level. Hey, nephew, look at me. Shh, it's all right. Just take a breath and look at me. Nephew is finally able to take a ragged breath. Nice Dad smiles and points to nephew's hand. That is pretty funny, isn't it? I catch on and kneel down next to nephew too. Hey, nephew. Did I tell you that this exact thing happened to me when I was about your age? Guess who saved me? Nephew: Iron Man? He loves Iron Man and Spider-Man. I shook my head, scoffing. Nah, Iron Man doesn't hold a candle to this hero. Want me to tell you who it was? Nephew nods. I point to Nice Dad. It was your grandpa. Let's help him save you too, okay? Nephew weakly says, Okay. Nice Dad leaves to the garage to find something to cut the plastic with, so we're left alone with Entitled Grandmother, who has her phone out. Great. Entitled Grandmother: Nephew, hold up your hand. I want a picture. Nephew, hiding his hand behind his back, cries, No! Me: Entitled Grandmother, come on. He's scared. Now isn't the time for a picture. Entitled Grandmother: I don't understand why he won't just let me take a picture. I never had a problem taking pictures of my son. Thankfully, at that moment, Nice Dad returned, saving me from snapping at Entitled Grandmother. Nice Dad: Okay, come here, nephew. I need you to stay super still, okay? Entitled Grandmother: Yeah, stay still, or Nice Dad will cut your finger off. Nephew whimpers, obviously scared, not understanding that she was joking. I rub his back and try to comfort him. Don't worry, sweetheart. Entitled Grandmother is just joking because she doesn't understand that now isn't the time for them. I look at Entitled Grandmother pointedly as I speak. She gives me a nasty glare. Nephew nods and stays still as a statue while Nice Dad cuts the plastic, so there's only a ring of plastic around Nephew's finger. I notice Entitled Grandmother snapping pictures with her phone as Nice Dad worked. Nice Dad makes the final cut and pulls the rest of the plastic off Nephew's finger. Nephew's mouth drops, and he literally jumps with joy and gives me a huge hug. Me, laughing, make sure to thank your grandpa, nephew. Nephew runs to Nice Dad and hugs him and thanks him. He's ecstatically happy that he won't have to live with a wiffle ball stuck to his finger. Me, Alright, nephew, crisis averted. Back to math. As we both are walking back inside, entitled grandmother stops nephew and shows him her phone. Look, nephew, I got pictures for my book. Nephew grumbles unhappily. No, grandma. He marches off to open the front door. Why are you upset now? Because you took pictures. Happy ending ruined. Me, going to help him open the door. I know, hon. She has a million embarrassing pictures of me and your dad. It's basically a grandparent's job description. We both go inside, and I tell him to forget about her. And to help, I gave him a popsicle. Happy ending restored. Later, I try to talk to entitled grandmother about taking pictures when nephew is scared, crying, etc. Entitled grandmother. He just needs to get over it and suck it up. I never had trouble taking pictures of my son. He just needs to let me do what I want. She was never a fan of autonomy. Next we've got, entitled lady wants me to fix gas pump. I took my escape to the local Ford shop outside the dealership to get my oil changed. I go in, and I sort of vaguely know the guy behind the counter. I tell him what I need. He says it'll be about 45 minutes total. Cool, I'll wait in their little waiting area. I barely got myself set down when an older lady rushes in and, for reasons completely unknown to me, starts complaining about gas pump 3. But she's the type that is flighty and going to keep talking right on over you. So she starts talking. Oh, I'm sorry. I manage to say before she goes on and on about the little hook thingy on the end of the deal. You know, and she can't get it to go. But that little hook thingy, etc., etc. I know nothing about gas pump maintenance, but her rapid-fire, meandering descriptions weren't doing anyone any favors. An overly excitable parakeet came to mind. Sensing the briefest of lulls in her ramblings, I said, I'm sorry, I don't work here. Naturally, she starts chirping again as I'm saying the word work. She's looking off in every direction, at every person waiting for their cars, at the guy behind the counter, just chattering away, saying a lot without ever really saying anything, you know? Mostly this is directed at me, but she's pivoting her head and just talking to the whole room. There was nothing wrong with her, just one of those elder Karens who emote a level 10 fret over a level 2 issue. She ends it all by looking directly at me and saying, So, pump 3, thank you. And she walks back out to her car at the gas pump. Guy at the counter needs some more info from me because since the last time I was there, I got a new car, but also moved. After our exchange, I kind of patted the counter forcefully and said, as if I were his boss, and if one of you could get on pump 3, that'd be great. We had a chuckle and I sat back down. Lady comes parakeeting up towards the door again, and I took a deep breath, ready to tell her that I don't work there. She doesn't come in, but looks directly at me sitting in a chair, then parakeets back to her car and stands there. A mechanic came in from the shop. Guy behind the counter tells him the story as best he could with what little information the lady gave. He says he'll take a look ASAP. They were busy. It was 2 days before Thanksgiving. Assuming people were getting their cars checked before travel, also it had just snowed, so maybe winterization. But I also don't think he knew there was a lady actually out there. I can see her pacing around like a maniac, craning her neck and looking at the storefront. Counter guy is run ragged booking new people in and going over the bills with others they had finished. Cue me getting an important phone call about my disabled mother's SSI benefits. It was just a number, so I answered it inside, but once I realized its importance, I took it outside. As I'm telling the SSI rep to hold on a sec, lady comes back in and looks at me with daggers in her eyes. She's simply aghast. I make it a point to tell the SSI rep that I was at the shop getting my car worked on, hoping that would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let them know why I needed a sec, and let Parakeet know that I didn't work there. As I'm walking out the door, I hear her just exclaim, "And now he's on the phone? Unbelievable." She storms out after me, I think because she thinks I'm heading to her car in pump 3. Obviously, I'm not. I continue off the property, across a small access road, and into the empty lot next door. I'll take the call with delicate personal information while also having a smoke, I figured. All in all, I'm, 100 feet away. Lady starts storming my direction, gets about halfway there, and throws up her arms in disgust, like she's waiting for me to notice her. Finally, she turns on her heels and stomps back to my car, paces around it, stares at me, looks at the store. Finally, one of the mechanics goes out there. I obviously couldn't hear them, and I was preoccupied with my phone call anyway. I did see him do something at the pump, which took a millisecond, and the rest of the time she was clearly angrily animated, talking at him while gesturing and occasionally looking at me. She fills up her car and leaves by the access road I crossed. I get daggers from her as she drives past me. I get done with my call and go back in. The mechanic and the counter guy are both talking, so I asked what her deal was. She didn't pull up the little lever that would activate the gas pump. She was just trying to pump gas to no avail. Facepalm. But the mechanic goes, "She really hates you." He goes on to say how she read him the riot act over me. I was lazy, incompetent, and more preoccupied with my phone and going on break than I was with helping her. She ended it with demanding I be fired or she'd take her business elsewhere. Counter guy says, "So, sorry, but we're gonna have to let you go." Dang, we laughed hard about that. And shoutouts to our re-generals of the day: Off-Road Boy, Object Time, Kitty Cat Wirefly, Raven Fox, and Rose Long. Become tomorrow's re-generals by leaving as many re's as you can in the comments below.